everybody. Welcome back to the Tea Party. This is Verbal Tea, the journaling podcast where we focus more on our own inner voices than the voices of those around us. Today is going to be so fun, y'all. We covered fatherhood last month, and you guys can look at that. Seriously, replay those. My dad is on there. It's good. This month, we're taking it to another level because once we work on our relationships with our parents, then we need to think about being truly free. So we are discussing freedom. Everybody's free. And I'm coming in hot with a new surprise for you guys. Today, I have a guest co-host. Yes, the permanent Tea Party is expanding. This person is amazing. This podcaster, she is so amazing, you guys. She is the host of the Blemish Beauty podcast that focuses on self-development, healing from rough transitions like divorce and loss. And she is just a beautiful soul, a mother. She works full time. She podcasts. She drops 2 podcasts a week, y'all. 2. And she made time to come support the Tea Party by being here. I'd like to introduce to you Shera Renee.
Hey, I'm so excited.
I'm so glad to have you here. I can't believe it.
I'm excited.
Y'all, this is my podcast sister. How do you feel? How do you feel being on the Tea Party?
I'm excited. I feel like I'm on the inside looking out now before I was on the outside looking in. So I'm excited to get this Tea Party started.
Yes. And like I said earlier, we are covering freedom and it's going to be mind-blowing, you guys. We're taking it to the next level as we always do here. And today I have an amazing guest. Wait, not me. We have an amazing guest that is part of our Winner Circles family.
Of course.
Winner Circle. It is, I call her the gymnast of podcasting. She is the host of the Breaking the Silence podcast. She's also an author. She's a closeted rapper / poet. Let's get into it because she's got bars herself.
Everything.
She's a graphic artist. You name it, she can do it.
Yep.
And I'm so happy to have her on. Let's introduce Nikki Nicole.
Hello, family.
Hey. Look at us. How are you?
I'm fine. It's an honor to be on the Verbal Tea and be on this side. I have been excited about this for weeks to come.
Right?
Yes, for weeks. Let me tell you, she is a loyal member, loyal, active, engaged member of the Tea Party. I drop an episode, I drop a post. She is writing, you guys.
Sharing,
sharing in the comments, telling people to line up. All of it. And she really affirms this mission for me. Because she'll go and she'll say, I'm glad you covered that. I'm glad you told me to write about that. This really opened it up for me. And so I'm glad to have you on. I'm glad to feature one of your pieces here for the second time.
Right.
But now you get to blush behind the mic as we get into it.
That's exactly what it's going to be. Blushing.
Yes. But before we go ahead and go over your poem that you shared about freedom, I ask every guest, what is your relationship with journaling?
Well, journaling started when I was very young. I started carrying pencils and pens and notebooks around in a book sack, and everybody that, in my hometown knows me for that. Everywhere I went, I took a book bag full of pencils and pens and a notebook, and I collected them for a while too. And I just wrote everywhere I went. I wrote about my experiences. I wrote about sad times, happy times, things around me. And it just stuck with me forever. And that was just the way that I released all of what I felt. If I couldn't say it because I was shy, for one, I would just write it.
Wow. That was just your way to get everything out. Before podcasting, huh?
Yes, before podcasting.
I do have to tell you guys, I just have to do this plug. She gets a lot out through podcasting, and it's like a sermon. It is so good. It will center you. It does what yoga is supposed to do for you, at least for me. She has
Nice.
motivational
Definitely.
Mondays, and it really sets my week off right.
Nice. Nice. Love it.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
And she just started that, so that's just
Yeah.
the bomb. Like 2 episodes, I think you're in now, right?
Two
Hmm.
episodes. And I've been getting feedback that, it sets everybody Monday. Mondays to me are rough.
Hmm.
So I think Mondays are
Hmm.
rough for everybody else. They don't want to go to work. They don't want to do nothing.
No.
So that's the reason why I came up with it, just to motivate people to start their week off right.
And that is exactly what you do. You put me in the right mind frame for my work week because my weekends are always so great. And then Monday comes.
Yeah.
But
Then Monday comes.
yes, let's get into it. So you've been journaling for a long time, and now you journal um, through writing as well as digitally through podcasting, I would say. So
Mhm.
I told her I wanted her to write on freedom. I didn't give any long winded prompts for her. I just said, write what comes to mind when you think of freedom. And this is what she wrote.
Freedom can be described in so many ways. For me, freedom means accepting who you are without regret and unapologetically. For years, I was trapped in a place I felt I could escape. No doors, no doorknobs, no way out. Freedom had me afraid to step out on faith. Who runs away from being free? A person that has been rejected all their life. A person that was never accepted. A person that had to work hard in everything they've done, yet that person is me. Freedom means so many different things to me. When slavery existed, freedom was like winning the lottery. It was something people dreamed about. I wonder if freedom still holds the same meaning today. Yes, my ancestors died for people of color to be free. But are we really free? Or are we still stuck behind closed doors with a lock? Trapped in our thoughts, lost and misguided, with fear still in control of the steering wheel. Truth is, I am still allowing fear to drive sometimes because I hold back, because I feel like I have let too much out. So when you ask what is freedom to me, my reply is being able to live without judgment, breathe with ease, and let all of my fears go. Freedom.
It's so good. It's let's snap, snap.
You bring the best
Yes,
out of me.
I love it. I love it.
It's so good. There's so many journal entries hidden inside that poem. Like, it's good.
And so many stories within that poem too.
I bet. What story just at the top of your mind comes to mind when you think of that poem when you heard it? What came to mind?
Well, when I wrote that poem, I was really thinking about coming out, how hard that was for me to come out, how I felt like I was in a closet, stuck, and I was just locked away and I couldn't get out. But then when I finally got out, I was free. That's what put me in that mindset.
That's dope.
That is that's beautiful. Just and when you say coming out, do you mean just like embracing yourself or do you mean coming out?
Coming out, like telling the world who I really was. I lost a lot of friends. I lost a lot of family members, in that transition. And, I was afraid. I was afraid to do that. But at the same time, I had to be true to myself. Had to be. So that's what I thought about when I wrote that poem. I put myself in that hurting stage. And sometimes, you can't write things because it does put you in a pain stage. I
Mhm.
cried.
Yeah.
I thought about things and I just wrote. I was like, she wants me to write this poem. I'm going to write it for her. I'm not going to let her down.
Oof. I really appreciate you because it was so open ended. You could have like, pitter pattered around it, beat around the bush, and I would have been none of the wiser. But you have so much integrity that you're like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go for it. You're breaking the silence in your own life, and I'm so glad that you're bringing your voice here because what you shared is so relatable to so many people. We are all struggling to come out in a sense and embrace who we really are.
Yeah, that can be
Absolutely.
very hard to do. Just listening to it, I was getting emotional. I was like, Lord, I got to get myself right for this stage again. But yeah, being free is it can mean a lot of different things, and it can be free from a situation that you were in for years, like domestic violence or a hurt relationship or anything like that. Freedom can mean a lot of different things. I could have went a lot of different places with that, but I just had to put myself in that moment and think about how I felt when I opened the door.
I think the biggest issue with being free is changing your mindset, because it's easy to walk out of something
Yes.
physically, but mentally, it's like, it's kind of like, well, I'm a visual person. So when I was listening to the poem, I was thinking about like a butterfly, right? You know how people catch butterflies? And then imagine this butterfly just trying to fly out and it keeps hitting the jar top, right? And then
Mm.
eventually the person who caught it unloosens the top. But at this point, the butterfly is so used to knowing, okay, well, I'm never going to get out of here, that they don't even pay attention to the jar top being open. But the moment they decide, okay, I'm going to try it again, and they get that experience after they fly out of the jar, that's what I thought about when I was listening to your poem. So that was dope.
Oof.
Wow, that's deep.
I love
That's
when you say, ooh.
that's such a beautiful illustration because it is. And we could go deep onto that. How even when we're free, we sometimes go back to seek the confines that we were used to because
Mhm.
that freedom can be so scary because now you're
Yeah.
faced with a whole new world of
Yeah.
rejection, a whole new set of limits and boundaries.
Hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
Mm. I think about people who are incarcerated and when they come out, a lot of them miss the routine and just the sense of normalcy they developed
Hmm.
when they were there in prison.
Yeah. And
You're
even
right.
the amount of time that they've been incarcerated, like imagine someone who's been away for 20 years. Your whole, like, my kids are 10 years apart,
Mm,
and the world has changed drastically since then.
mhm.
And we've been out in the world. So I can only imagine, like, when they were gone, they had flip phones still. So
Oof.
I can imagine the adjustment, of coming
Hmm.
home to this new normal. It's definitely overwhelming for them.
Definitely. I agree. I agree.
So that leads me to a question, and it wasn't on the list, Nikki, so I guess I'm putting you on the spot. But when it comes to freedom, what has helped you stay true and stay committed to it, and the unknown and the foreign life, because it is foreign. It's so different than how you had masked for all these years before. So what's helped you stay grounded and tethered to that freedom and that truth?
Well, um, breaking the silence has really kept me grounded as a person in general and kept me focused on what I'm trying to do. And everybody that I have connected with has
Mhm.
kept me grounded and focused on what I need to do when it comes to being true to myself, when it comes to unleashing my own voice. I preach all the time, unleash your inner voice. But then I
Mhm.
started questioning myself. Sometimes you have to take a step back and you have to look at yourself and evaluate what you're doing. And you have to say, you know what, I'm telling these people to come up here and unleash their voice, but what am I doing? Am I living in my truth? So it started there. It started with me. Everything starts with me. And when I started thinking about it that way, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start going on other platforms and I'm gonna start telling my story.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna just get up behind this mic and do Monday motivational and I'm gonna tell my story. And I'm gonna come and I'm gonna do something else where I can tell another piece of me. Because truth be told, when I get behind this mic, y'all see me. I'm me. I'm the authentic Nikki Nicole
Yes.
with scars, with bruises, that are still healing, and everything takes time. So that's what keeps me grounded. The people that are around me and the people that come across my platform, their stories, because I see that they they can go through things that's worse than me. I might have went through some things, but there's people out there that went through worse things than me. So I'm giving them a healing stage where they can come up here and say, drop it here. Leave, how you say, leave all your burdens at the altar.
Mhm.
They can leave all their burdens at the altar and they can release it and go and live a better life.
I love that. So what you're alluding to is purpose. Your purpose is what keeps you grounded. You have this purpose, a very compassionate purpose to make people feel at home, to unleash their inner voices, and that holds you accountable to continue to be true to yours.
Mhm. Yes, and doubt. Yes, accountability is very important. You have to, you have to take accountability for everything that you do in your life. You can't blame people for the things that happen in your life because those are choices that you made as a person. So you have to say, "I did that." You have to own it and just move accordingly from there.
You know what, too? As you're interviewing people, I'm pretty sure, well, probably, but probably not. I'm pretty sure as you're interviewing people and you hear certain stories, it's kind of like freeing in a way for you because it's like, okay, well, I thought my stuff was bad. There's people out here that's worse off than me. So it keeps you humble, it keeps you grateful because it could have been worse.
Could have been.
So that's another reason why you probably feel free because it's like, wow, me stepping out on faith because you are a believer, me stepping out on faith, this has allowed this person to take the initiative to step out on faith
Mhm.
and unleash their voice, and then another person, and then another person. So you are definitely bridging the gap, you are breaking the silence, and you are a trailblazer in your own right, sis.
Man, I'm telling you, it can be real scary sometimes, because the stories that I do hear and the connections that I do make after they're
Mhm.
across the platform, it's like I'm this constant motivator, I'm this constant encourager in people's lives. And sometimes it scares me. I ain't gonna lie, it scares me because when I first started it, I never imagined it would be this way. I never imagined that I would meet so many great people and people that are going through all this trauma and have to motivate them every day. Because I used to do that all the time, just being Nikki.
Mhm.
People would call me because they wanted a good word for the day or they wanted to get some type of advice, that change their life. So now I'm doing it on my platform and it's scary. Honestly, it scares me a lot. But I love it. I ain't gonna lie, I love it. I'm walking in my purpose.
Oh, you definitely are. And that speaks to a larger point about verbal tea for me is that when we are fulfilled and when we are our excuse me, when we are at our freest in our freest selves, the world expands. We expand the world for other people. We have a better effect on everyone. The impact is stronger. Our energy radiates in a way that is beyond what we can conceive of when we're broken.
I agree. I agree
Absolutely.
completely.
Oof. Okay. So I have to ask because I've been thinking of it all week, all week. Who runs away from being free? Can we get into it?
Me, that's what she said.
Y'all funny. Yeah, me. I mean, for years I ran. I'm not gonna lie. I ran away from a lot of things in my life because fear. I was scared. I was scared to speak. I was scared to do anything in my life, use my talents, everything I've had. I just ran because I was always wondering how somebody would see me. Would they like it? Would they judge me? Now
Mhm.
I'm just unapologetically me. I really don't care at this point. I'm gonna be me regardless of whether and you don't like it or not. But somebody's gonna like it. Somebody's gonna like me for me. So now I'm just moving in a point where I'm carefree. I'm carefree. I'm not allowing fear to knock on my door anymore. I'm gonna
Mhm.
do whatever I need to do to live in my purpose. And sometimes it's like, how people say, when you start living, then that's when things start shifting in your life. And that's when it's scary because I feel so good. I feel so good doing it. And I told my mom the other day, I was like, Mom, I'm scared. I said, because I'm living in my purpose and I feel it. I said, you think I'm leaving this world? She was like, stop talking like that. But that's normally how things happen. People start really living their life and living in their truth. And then next thing you know, they're not here anymore. But I want to be here for a long time to come because I got my grandson coming up, and I want to be the best version of myself, and I want to leave a legacy for him. So
Oof. You just touched on something I have to like, whoa, whoa, okay. We often think, and I feel like we're conditioned to think that that level of peace is reserved for when we're near the end, like waiting on Judgment Day to go to the promised land, like all of that. But you guys know I'm not a believer anymore, but I'm surrounded by them. And the text says that we were destined, called to live life abundantly here. And freedom and walking in your truth, being honest with yourself is the key to that. I feel like that is the key to living abundantly in that promise that divinity has set for us. Like, we're not meant to be running away from ourselves until our last breath. Like, oh, I wish I would have. No, we're not meant to do that. We're called
Right.
to be breaking the silence right now.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Because
Like
tomorrow
how it
is
slip
not
that in.
promised. Tomorrow is not promised. And the only thing you can do is worry about today. Get
Yes.
through today. You can't worry about tomorrow. Yeah, we plan things all the time, but you have to make today count because you don't know who's gonna. I say this a lot. You really don't know who's gonna be here tomorrow. So
Yeah.
treat people right today because that's what's gonna
Yeah.
count. You know.
Yes.
This made me think of this movie. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's a Tyler Perry movie. It's called The Family That Prays.
Mm.
And Kathy Bates and Alfre Woodard, they're best friends. And as you were saying that, again, y'all, I'm visual. I kept hearing Kathy Bates talk to Alfre Woodard and say, "Are you living or are you existing?"
Ooh.
And I think as we grow up, we are taught or conditioned to exist.
Mhm.
And then when you tap into your freedom, that's when you finally live.
Mm.
Like Alfre Woodard, she was just like working and being a mom and doing the things. It was kind of robotic. That's how you know you're existing. But when you're living, like she was carefree, she was traveling, and it doesn't look the same for everybody, but whatever it is that allows you the opportunity to just feel weightless, that's what freedom actually is. And I know for you, Nikki, podcasting and you, Globe, of course, podcasting makes you feel weightless. And that's how you know when you're free and you're living in your purpose, because it goes beyond you. You know, you're doing it for other people as well, and they're using you as a template to also tap into their freedom.
Oof.
I agree.
Coming in with the
I love it.
illustrations.
I love you with the ooh. Love
if
it.
if this was an interview, you got the job, okay?
Okay.
Listen. Uh, but yes, I love that. And that speaks to the fact that once we are free, we're not consumed with ourselves anymore. We're
Mhm,
free from self absorption.
mhm,
We're free from
mhm.
that because we're so fulfilled. We can give. We are filling ourselves up, so we're able to give and not just take.
Yeah.
Mhm. But
Absolutely.
oftentimes I was taught to keep things to myself. What goes on in my house stays in my house.
Mhm.
So that prompted me to write more too, because it was a lot of things that I couldn't talk about. It was a lot of things
Mm,
I couldn't tell people. So I had to write it. I had to release it some type of way.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Oof, I remember those days. Like, don't you go into school telling people what happened here. Don't be acting a fool. And it's like, I gotta get this out. Where can I put it? And journaling, it helped me. It helped me understand myself and the perspective of my parents. Like, it made me a little more mature too.
I agree. I agree.
Wow. We have been talking about podcasting. We've just been circling around it. How is podcasting aligning with your freedom?
Phew. Like you said, podcast.
Oof, oof.
Podcasting is my everything besides my family. It keeps me motivated. It keeps me going. It keeps me alive. Um, it gives me a voice that I never had. It's a little bit deeper than writing for me because now that I'm not just writing anymore, I'm talking,
Hmm.
and I'm not really a public speaker. So to put me on like platforms to, be on as a guest and to be up on Breaking Silence talking. Trust me, I'm shy. I'm shy in real life.
I was
I
waiting for
don't.
you to say it. I'm
I'm
shy,
shy.
y'all.
Nobody believes it, but I'm really shy in real life. Unless I get to know you as a person, I'm really shy. I don't talk to people. But this podcast has put me in places that I never thought I would dream. I have been able to network with people that I never met in real life. I've been able to go to events and be in chairs that I never thought myself being in and sitting at tables that I never thought I would sit at. So podcasting has just opened up a whole new world to me that I feel like I'm just sitting back and I'm like, somebody gonna wake me up soon. This can't be life. This can't be life. I mean, being able to collaborate with Miss Toy,
Mhm.
being able to collaborate with Big V of Nappy Roots. I mean, I used to love this man. Like coming up as a child, like these people like blew my mind saying, yes, I come on your platform. You do what? So it's like I would set goals every month. Like I'm gonna have a celebrity this season. I'm gonna have a celebrity every season. This is what I tell myself, and I just reach out to people, never expecting that I would get a response. I would say, I'm gonna have 50 people in this season. Never expected to have as many episodes as I do now. Never expected to be booked to September. Never expected to still be booking. I didn't think this was gonna go anywhere. Honestly, I just thought I was gonna get behind this mic. I was gonna live in my purpose and my truth, and it was just gonna be it. I didn't think people really was gonna be like supporting me. So, but at the end of the day, it started off as me unleashing my voice. It started off as me coming out of my shell. So once I did that, it's like everything else started align. It's like, okay, now you know why you're here, don't you? Now you want to shine the light on everybody else, especially those people that don't get the light on them every day, that do great things.
Mm.
And I'm not gonna lie, I almost left this world a long time ago. And then I was like, God spared me for a reason. I woke up, I was looking at the ceiling, and I'm getting my stomach pumped. And I'm like, I should have been gone, honestly, because somebody found me. I didn't tell nobody anything. I just said, you know what? I'm sick of this world. I'm tired of them treating me bad. I'm tired of them beating me up. And I just want to go. The world is better off without me. So when I woke up to that light and I was like, there's a purpose. I still didn't know then. I still didn't know what my purpose was then. I was still searching for that purpose. And it's sad that it took this long to figure it out. I wrote the first book, and then the next thing I know, I wrote 5 books. And I'm like, okay, well, this must be not it. Yeah, I had book sales and everything, and people were happy that I finally put things out there, but then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a podcast. Took me a year to plan it. But I was scared. That was really, I probably was ready in 2 months, honestly. But I was scared because my mom was like, "You're gonna be up there on that podcast, and you gotta be careful." So I kept drawing back, and I was like, "Yeah, they gonna pick on me. They're gonna talk about me." So I kept I was that quiet Nikki, that nerdy Nikki, that really didn't deal with people. So who was gonna watch me? That's how I felt. Who was gonna watch me? So one day I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. My birthday, I'm launching. I'm gonna have 20 episodes to release, and I did it. I had 20 episodes pre-recorded before my birthday even came. I had debates lined up. I had all kind of stuff lined up just to drop. So I've been going ever since then, and it's only been months.
Look at that. You spent your life thinking that no one wants to hear what you have to say, writing it down, keeping it to yourself. And then the first season that you actually put it out in there into the world, it blows up. It's touched so many people that you haven't even got to physically touch yet. Can you think of that? Like just sit with that for a moment.
But I saw something on Facebook one day that aligned with support. Stop worrying about the people that's not supporting you. Stop worrying about the family that's not supporting you. It's gonna be the strangers. We worldwide. We get
Yes.
so many people in this world. You don't got to worry about that one friend that you think that's gonna support you. You don't got to worry about that one family member that you think gonna support you. All these people in the world.
That part.
You don't got to worry about that. So when I started thinking like that, I started worrying about people knowing me, supporting me. I started worrying about the people that didn't know me, and I wanted them to support. And most of the people that came across my platform, I do not know. It's sad, but it's true. So y'all keep that mindset. Don't worry about the people. Don't worry about the people that's not supporting you, that are connected to you like family and friends. Worry about all these people in the world. Think worldwide. Think international. It's a lot of people out there that want to talk to y'all. It's a lot of people that want to own their scars. You know, there's a lot of people
Mhm.
that want to come and talk to you about what they've been writing about all their life.
Mhm.
Mm, that's the truth. Yeah, it's true. I've been so shocked. I'm like, nobody wants to listen to me. And then all of a sudden, people are emailing me. I put on my first form. 21 people. I will never forget. 21
Wow.
people in under 24 hours wanted to be on the show. And
Powerful. Never heard of a podcast like that in my life on journaling. I love it. Never heard of a podcast in my life. To be honest, we're all aligned in some type of way because
yes.
you're
Absolutely.
you're talking about owning scars and you're talking
Yep.
about journaling. So everybody can relate to that type of stuff. Don't box yourself in and think that you box into just a certain crowd.
Yeah.
You got America. You got overseas. You got everybody.
Yeah. It's crazy because I'm thinking about the alignment and I'm like, okay, Globe is telling you how to write down your scars, right?
Mhm.
And then me, I'm telling you how to or the strategies to own them. And then when they ready, then they come on breaking the silence and then they just unleash it. Like it's just amazing. Like how you were saying about people not supporting you. Look at us and our locations. You
Mhm.
know, like we're all in different states. We're not in the same state. We're not even in the same time zone. Well, me and you are, Nikki, but
Yeah.
we're not even in the same time zone. And it's like we have more support from strangers
Mhm.
than we do people that we know. And when you were talking about your journey, I was thinking an illustration. Sorry. I was thinking about dominoes, right? And how that one domino affects all the rest of them behind them. And that's you. Like if you didn't take the stand or the fall in this case, then none of them could move into the position that they're supposed to be in. So you doing that set the tone for everybody else that's coming on your show. So you just continue to do what you do, Nikki, because it's for a reason. You're meant to be here for a reason. And we love and appreciate you so much.
Oh, y'all know I love y'all. But you know, I pray the same prayer. I've been praying the same prayer all my life. I said, everything that's attached to me wins.
Oh,
I've been saying that for a very long time, and I pray it every single day. Lord, please let everything that's attached to me win.
Yes.
yes. Amen. And it does. Everything does. Everybody does. I
Mhm.
you just have that impact.
Mhm.
You
She's
shake
the domino effect.
the
She
domino
is.
effect. Surely. And look at
Yes.
you. Every time, all right. Every time she comes on, skin glowing, speech clear, graphics perfect. It's
Okay.
like you said you started this year. I'm like, wow. This is what it looks like when someone is living in their purpose. You step and it
Mhm.
looks
One day at a
good.
time, Kay. One day at a
Strategic
time.
timing. Yep.
Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah.
I still look at old episodes and I'm like, dang, I come a long way. For real, I look at my old episodes and I'm like, I'm nowhere near where I used to be. I'm nowhere. To me, if y'all look at my old episodes, y'all be like, okay, she started out here, but she here now. And I'm my biggest critic. I still be thinking like, oh, I can do better. I'm always changing stuff
Every day.
Yeah.
every day.
If
Literally,
you
no
watch your old
exaggeration.
shows, it's like you did that a year ago, not months ago. Like I always tell you, if walking by faith was a person, that is you. Because the moment, I kid you not, and you know this, Globe, the moment she decided to say, okay, I'm doing this full time, boom, 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 boom. It's just so many things just kept happening, and God is just preparing you and setting you up financially for other things.
Mhm.
He's replacing the loss that you had from the job now that you're podcasting full time. Like it is amazing to watch you like behind the scenes just cheering you on, like, yes, go sis, that's sis.
Man, I remember when we met. Sure, I remember we met. I think you were on. Both of y'all might have been on Danny's episode, and you came out and you was like, "I love this production." And from that
Baby.
day, you've been sharing my stuff. I don't know how I met Kay, but it had to be through Danny.
It was. It was.
I think it was in the group.
Yep. We met in the
I think it
group.
was
Oh,
in the group. Yeah, I think it was in the group.
But
Cause
yeah,
baby, your production, you on Tyler Perry status, honey. Like a
nah.
Breaking the Silence production is everything. She will make you look like $1,000,000 when she promotes you, honey. It is amazing.
And she
I
gives
Listen,
you
love
a
it.
backstage feel.
Yes, you get an introduction, a countdown. Like you feel like you actually on somebody's stage. It's just
y'all crazy. Y'all a mess.
we
My
love
cousin
you.
that came on the other day, she was like, I sent her the flyer, and she was like, "You just made me feel like somebody." I was like, "What you mean? It's just a flyer." And she was like, "Thank you, thank
Wow.
you." Like I'm like, a flyer can change. I mean, but that's the effect
Yeah.
that I want on my guests. I want my guests to feel like there's somebody. I really
And
do.
you make
That is
them
my
feel like
mission.
that. Yeah. You
You are
truly invest yourself into your guests. Like you actually listen to their songs. It's not about views for you. It's all about really bringing awareness to who they are as people in their stories. If they're an artist, you really listen to their music and it shows because you'll tell
Mhm.
them, "Oh, I like this song or I like that song." And they even be looking like, "Oh, how
Yep.
you know about that when nobody ever
Yep.
plays that song?" If it's a poem, you be like, "I like this poem," or whatever. Like, and if it's just a story, you're so invested. Like, even when you do the production, it's just you put love into it all, and you can tell that this is something you love. It's a difference between like a hairstylist and somebody who do hair. Somebody who is a hair care professional will care for your hair, as opposed to somebody who just does hair. They're gonna do
Mhm.
your hair, whatever, even if you ain't supposed to have that hairstyle because it'll break your hair, they'll still do it because they want the money.
Yep.
You actually care about podcasting. This is your passion. This is your purpose. So anybody that come on your show, be prepared. Be prepared. She love
listen,
y'all.
listen. I
For
was
real.
scripted in the beginning. Believe it or not,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I was, when I say every single word that came out my mouth, because I was scared. I still was scared a little bit. I was like, man, if I just let go, I don't think it's gonna come out right. So I went from being scripted from every word to being show notes to now
Flowing.
I'm having conversations. But
Mm-hmm.
somebody that came on my podcast and made me open my eyes to, he was like, he was another podcaster. He's like, I think if you just have a conversation with people, you're gonna be fine. He said, I think you need to change it up. So I said, I'm scared. He was like, don't be scared. You're gonna be fine. So now I'm just, how you doing today? Who are you?
Yeah.
We just go from there. We talking. I'm just throwing them questions from the head now. And I
That's that
mean,
freedom.
Mhm.
freedom.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's freedom, y'all, and it feels good. I'm glad I don't have to prepare questions. I'm glad I don't have to prepare scripts. I'm glad I can just go up there and talk to people. Honestly, yeah, y'all better get some of this freedom.
I'm waiting for the oof.
It's true though, but when you free yourself from expectations, this
Mhm.
this idolized image, when you free yourself from all of that and you go on not vibes, but you go off convictions and you're like, this is what I want to do, this is what I feel called to do, this is what feels right. Boom. You have the strongest impact that way. Because despite what social media wants us to think, people respond to people the most. They respond to
Yeah.
people more than anything.
Yeah. And
You're right.
people need that. They need that authenticity. It's so
Mhm.
much stuff that's fake. Like even reality TV is scripted.
Mm-hmm.
But people need to feel that authenticity, even with church, like genuineness. They actually need to feel that love. That's what's missing in the world. And there's only a handful of podcasters that actually have that authenticity, that secret sauce. You can tell that people are just out here doing it for the money. They're out
Mhm.
here doing it for the what do you call it, the monetizations and all of the accolades and all the stuff that
Mm-hmm.
comes with it. But the people that actually have a genuine mission, that really want to see people win, that want to share, spread the spotlight on people, like breaking the silence, you can tell like it's a difference in
It
what
is.
you hear and in what you see.
But if you don't have that peace, if you don't have that passion for what you're doing and you're doing it just for money, you're never gonna have the results that you want and desire in that, because it's all about money. Money is the root of all evil. I grew
Yeah.
up grew up feeling that way. It's the root of all evil, and it would cause a
Yeah.
lot of problems in people's lives. So if you're doing it because you have that passion, it's gonna mean much more, honestly.
Yeah. And then the Bible also says your gifts will make room for you. So
Yes.
when
Yes.
you, again, tying it all back around, if you walk into your freedom and you embrace your authenticity, all of the things that God has instilled in you will make room for you. The moment you decided to go full time, the moment you decided to leave the scripts alone and you embrace your authenticity, that's when the people from Nigeria came. That's when the graphic designing came. That's when you going to North Carolina and doing all of this stuff came. Like, because you decided, okay, I'm scared, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put my
Do it.
toe in. I'm gonna
I'm
put
gonna
my
do it.
toe in, but I'm gonna do it. And when you
Yeah,
did it, it was
like,
like a ripple effect. Everything just kept spiraling in a good way,
scary.
and that's amazing.
It's scary though. It's really scary, you know. And sometimes I keep things to myself now a little bit more because I don't want people to think that, oh, she's just bragging, you know. No, it's not brag. I'm happy. Like
Yeah,
I didn't see myself being in this position.
yeah,
So, and I don't have a whole lot of people to like, you know, people are so jealous. So I don't have
mhm,
a whole lot of people just to call and be like, hey, guess what happened to me? They're not gonna be happy.
right.
So I did draw back a lot because I'm like everything that I have going on, I'm not gonna even say anything. I'm just gonna let it flow. I'm gonna let it flow and I'm living this I'm gonna live
Bubble.
this journey the best I know how and my purpose and just go to the next level. Money will come.
It
Money
will.
will come, numbers. And you know, y'all, I in the beginning wasn't looking at numbers. I sat down the other day and started looking at numbers for the first time since I've really been podcasting. Every now and again, if they don't give me a notification, I don't know nothing about numbers. People in London, Canada, Norway, Africa,
Mhm.
all these places overseas are like tuned in. Like,
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
yeah,
Yep.
All these states that are tuned in. I'm like, I didn't know it was that big. I honestly didn't know I was reaching anybody. But I'm glad that I'm reaching people and people are pouring into me, and I hope that I can pour back into them.
doing a good job,
Oh,
sis.
amazing job. I'm so proud of you. Like, you're like family
Absolutely.
to me. You guys are like family to me. And I've just seen it all come forward. My friend on my birthday party, she told me, do you think because you were taught as a child that it's better to be seen and not heard? Is that the reason why you haven't launched your podcast yet?
Mm.
Mm,
I was stunned, stunned. And the next week, I just announced it. I had everything planned for years, you guys, but I didn't have anybody that I had in mind except for the first episode. I was like, I'm just gonna post it because now people know I'm gonna hold myself accountable because they're gonna be like, what happened to the podcast?
mm-hmm.
And just went. And next thing you know, there's this whole community.
Yeah,
Didn't know podcasting was as big as it is, but podcasting is big.
yeah,
It's
it
a
is.
lot of people podcasting in this
Doing
world,
it.
and if
Mhm.
you can stand out in all these millions and millions of podcasters, man, you're doing good if you can stand out. And that's where I want to be. I want to be in that point where I'm standing out over all those people.
It's coming. It's coming. I've seen it. I've seen it more and more. Like your
She
reach
level up every
expand.
week.
Yeah, exactly. You expand every week.
Hmm.
You're international. Like you not just having international listeners,
Facts.
you have international people wanting to be on the
On your
show.
show. Exactly.
Hey,
Can you
I'm
imagine like you're on this again, sorry, the visuals. You're podcasting, right? And you're doing an episode, even if it's live or pre-recorded or whatever. There's a person in Canada tuning in or looking forward to a Breaking the Silence episode, and they're probably in their room or a verbal tea episode, and they're in their rooms and they're just journaling or they're listening to Breaking the Silence, and then they're like, okay, because of you now I can walk in my freedom. Like, imagine this episode and somebody is in Canada like, okay, now I can come out and be free, or maybe I can journal about what it'll look like to come out and be free. Like, this is the beauty in podcasting, because you do not know how many people you can touch. Everybody's not just like a church. Everybody's not going to be a mega church like TD Jakes. You might be a storefront where you only touch 50 people,
Mhm.
but you touch 50 people. So whoever you touch, you're touching people. If you would have never took the time to do this, you would have never touched any of those people. And because you decided to keep going, to be consistent, to be heard as well as seen, because you do visual, you're touching so many people. I'm proud of both of y'all. This is awesome. I'm so excited to be here. I feel like I'm on the stage for real at the tea party.
You a
This what
mess.
you guys are
It's a
giving
love
me.
fest.
This is the energy I want though. And this is the beauty of spending time with your thoughts, whether it's journaling, whether it's planning out a podcast, whether
Mhm.
it's just talking to that friend that you can keep it all the way real with. Spending
Right.
that intentional time allows for this, allows for those wholesome connections where
Mhm.
even if you don't agree on everything,
Yeah.
you still meet in this great space.
Hmm.
Mhm.
But you know what? It's funny you said that, sure. You remember that episode? I don't know if y'all remember that episode where the young lady came on and she said that my episode stopped her from committing suicide.
Yes, that was the
Yes.
episode we was on
Yeah. I
together.
was going to say Shira was on that
Yes.
episode.
Yeah, me and you, that
Yes.
was your episode.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I'm still connected with her to this day.
Awesome.
I send her motivational videos in the mornings, we talk. So you never know who you impact, and I didn't
Yeah.
never saw that coming. I just never saw it. I never saw that coming. That was the second thing with suicide that came across. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
Imagine that. Like today, she decided, just like with you that day, you decided, you know what I'm saying? You
Mhm.
were the person that found her. You know what I'm saying? And because she listened to that episode, something you said to her was so profound that she decided, okay, I'm going to give life another chance.
Mhm.
Like that in itself is enough for me to be like, all right, even if I don't feel like doing the episode, I'm going to do an episode today because today
For real.
might be the day where I save somebody else's life.
Seriously, and
Yes.
And
that's how
hearing
I look.
that will help you save yours. Like, all right, I gotta do better. I gotta eat better. I gotta do whatever I gotta do because people are depending on me, not
Mhm.
just your family, but your audience.
Yes, and that's
Yes.
That was a
exactly how I
beautiful
feel.
feeling. Yeah,
That's exactly how I feel. And sometimes I feel like I carry the weight of the world on me, but at the same time, I love doing it. And that's why I do what I do, because there's people like her that they want to hear me say something. They want to
yeah,
motivate, they want motivation. They want somebody to tell them, hey, you can do this. You really can. That lady is so talented. She's so talented. She's sitting on a lot of talent. She has degrees on top of degrees. She's very smart. And I just told you can do this, man. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes you gotta have people in your life that's gonna be positive, because if you don't, and I tell her all the time, you need a circle. You need a circle. You need a circle of positive people.
yeah,
Because if you
Yes.
don't have that, you need to get rid of those people so you can move to the next level, because God is telling you that they're not supposed to be there. They're not supposed to see you go to the next level. They're not even supposed
yeah,
to be sitting at the table with you. So you need to let them go because you're stunning your growth.
Mm.
yeah.
I had to learn it the hard way. I had to learn it the hard way. It hurts, but it is what it is.
So freedom actually helps other people be free.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. It really does. The freer I get, the more oof moments I have in life. Honestly, the
I
more
love it.
I see people in their element, like
Mhm.
I kind of get like a high, a rush from seeing people in their zone, in their element, living their truth, because you
Yeah,
know what it looks like. You can feel it in your veins. Like, cuz we're all
yeah,
connected like trees. Somehow we're connected. So when you
mhm.
see that person that is in their element, you feel it, and you feel it.
Yeah.
And
If you
now,
can say trees,
yes, we're connected like trees.
that's confirmation. I
Go
just
ahead,
did
Nikki, spill it.
a
Preach.
Spill the
I just
tea, literally.
I just did an episode, and I shouldn't even talk about this, but I'm gonna talk about it. I was talking about the roots, the branch, and the limb, and how when you choose people that are in your life, you have to choose them wisely based off the fact, limbs and branches are they're gone. A storm comes, they gone. but those roots, they stay solid and they remain there. So I'm like, if you have a lot of branches in your life, you have a lot of limbs in your life, you need to get rid of them. You need to get rid of them. You need to determine who is your branch, who's your limb, and who's your root. And those roots you need to take to the next level. That's
So
confirmation.
you thinking about, again, here's an illustration.
Here you go. I love it. Woo.
So, okay, you got trees, right? You got trees. So I'm thinking about what would make a limb or a branch move? A storm, wind. So whenever something happens in your life, a storm or, some type of, maybe you don't have no money or whatever a storm looks like for you, if you see those people kind of sway or waver, those are the branches, those are the limbs. But those people that's like, I'm going to pray for you. Do you need something? I'm going to send you $10 or $20 to your Cash App. Those are your roots because they keep you grounded. And when you water the roots, it helps the tree grow. So if God waters those people around you, they're going to continue to help you grow because they're being watered. So that's how you can tell the difference between, because I know people are going to be like, well, how am I supposed to? Because I know me, I'll be all in my head. How am I supposed to tell the difference? That's how y'all tell the difference. When you're going through a storm and those people ain't nowhere to be found, you can't call them, you can't text them. They're not tangible. You can't touch them if they local. Those are branches and those are leaves because leaves are a part of the tree too. But those people, hey, I haven't heard from you. You usually text me every morning at 8 a.m. It's 5 p.m. I haven't heard you. Good? That's a root. Keep those people around because they know your nonverbal as well as your verbal communication. So just like us, if I don't hear from y'all in the group chat in the morning, all right, something wrong. My sis better be asleep. Or if I don't hear from Globe after 12 o'clock, because I know it's mountain time, like, all right, now what's going on? Those are the difference between the people.
I call people like I call my mom. I'm like, I'm just calling to let you know I'm breathing. Yeah. Sometimes you just have to let people know you're breathing, that you're existing.
Life is too short.
And find out whether they're breathing, whether they're existing. You don't know what's going on with them.
Mess around, be on Facebook and find out they gone.
Yep. Right. That's why I say we're like trees, because roots reach out to other trees to supply nutrients to them from their leftovers
connected.
As well.
Yep.
All connected.
People don't get that. People don't get that though. I don't know why, but people try not to connect with people and they try not to build relationships because you know why? Broken people meet broken people. Yeah. Most of the time, broken people are dealing with broken people or they're dealing with some type of trauma. So they don't know how to deal. And that's expected, but people need people. And I'm gonna keep saying that. People need people to get to the next level. It's not like you're using them to get to the next level. People just need to connect so they can connect the next person. It's just a interchangeable thing. And I say that all the time. Hey, let's collectively win. What's wrong with that?
It's science. It is nerdy me, but it is. It's literally science. And I just wanted to revisit that. I feel that people can't be roots sometimes because their roots are rotten because they are locked in. They're bound by something else that don't have nothing to do with anybody else. They're bound through capitalism. Some people are just trying to hustle and make money and can't think of anything of intrinsic value.
Yeah.
Some people have their own trauma they can't free themselves from. But freedom is the game changer.
When they free themselves, they'll be a better version of themselves. Promise
you. Well, this was an amazing, amazing conversation. I am so happy. But before we, do our round call, we have this lovely segment called Something to Sip On. So let me introduce it. We've had a hot tea party. I'm now going to introduce our Something to Sip On. Shout out to Paul, my husband, for the amazing interlude. But this is our Something to Sip On. So this is where you, Nikki, and then following Shera, you guys are going to get on your podium and give people something to sip on, just like a nice little potent truth about freedom.
In order to live, to truly live your life, you have to find a way to be free. Free of all of your pain, free of all your hurt, free. I mean, you need to not worry about what people think about you because your past does not define who you are. People try their best to take your past to determine who you are in the future and your present. But if you don't know who you are and you don't start holding yourself accountable for who you are, then you're not going to get to the next level and you're not going to be free. Being free can mean so many different things in life. It has so many definitions connected to it. But you have to free yourself from people sometimes. You have to free yourself from the criticism from of your own self because sometimes we can hold ourselves back. We are the biggest critics of ourselves, and sometimes we beat ourselves down so many times that we don't see the good in our own selves. You have to believe in yourself. You have to push yourself. I don't care if it's a kid, a grandkid, or maybe a sibling or somebody in your life that you love, somebody in your life that you care about. Use them as that person to pivot you in your life to become free. And it's, I believe me, it's gonna be worth it in the end of the day. It's gonna be worth it because when you're free, you can just live. You can live life. You don't care about nothing. You will not care about anything. You can live in your truth. And when people say things to you, you still can move on. Take it from me. Being in a closet, locked down, I'm talking about since 5 years old. And I don't think I was trapped in my own thoughts. So I had to write everything that I felt down. Then, 21 years old, I stepped out that closet. I said, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. It's time for you to be you. And either they're going to like it or they're going to love it or they're going to keep it moving. At that point, I didn't care because I was free and I felt good about myself. So I leave with everybody that if you are struggling to come out of your shell, if you're struggling to turn that doorknob, look in the mirror first, evaluate your life, evaluate your circle, evaluate everything around you, and turn the doorknob and walk out.
How I'm supposed to follow that? Okay, I'm just gonna give y'all a line. Okay, this is something for y'all to remember. Okay, this is a small teaspoon for you. Okay, freedom is gonna cost you something, and in certain cases, it may cost you everything. But the peace on the other side of that freedom will be well worth it. And that's all I got.
Ooh, not y'all giving me chills. I have chills. You guys are so brilliant. Such wonderful, brilliant woman. It is such an honor to be in the same space with you, to have you on my platform. Thanks so much for gracing this space. Please,
Thank
you
you.
guys, I have journal prompts in my blog, but y'all gonna need to replay this episode a few times and meditate on the gems that they dropped today because both of their stories are amazing. And please tune into their podcast. Let me not be the commercial. I won't be the commercial. But I do want them to be able to highlight themselves. So, Shera, go ahead and tell them where they can find you.
Okay, so you can find the Blemish Beauty podcast on Apple, Spotify, Facebook, and YouTube. Audio, it airs on Tuesdays and Thursdays, drops at midnight Eastern Standard Time. And the video version, it live streams at 8 p.m. I think it's 8 p.m. Yes, 8 p. No, 7 p.m. I'm sorry, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
All right. And Nikki?
Well, Breaking the Silence is everywhere. Breaking the Silence is on Instagram, YouTube. I'm Arthur Nikki Nicole on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter, well, the new X. I'm on Twitch. I'm everywhere.
TikTok.
To be in every space that I can be on. I'm trying to get a pattern down like everybody else, like the blemish beauty and the verbal tea. But I stream anytime, any day. as they say, every doggone day. But now I'm on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Thank you. Yeah, I'm on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays now. I normally have maybe 3 to 4 episodes on those days. So just follow my journey. You won't be disappointed.
Oh, you won't. Trust me. I tune into them faithfully. Faithfully. And they are so good. They keep me centered. They keep me motivated to continue to do this as well. A little intimidated because they're pros, but they also keep me motivated to keep pushing forward. And as you guys know, you can find us at Verbal Tea on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, YouTube, and Facebook. And then at Verbal Tea Time on Instagram and TikTok. We do have a website that will be in the show notes. How to follow Shera will be in the show notes, and how to follow Nikki will also be in the show notes so that you guys can easily just click on the links, get to know more about them, and get this healing, get this freedom.
Oh, one more thing. I am on Spotify now. I'm getting ready to do audio. So yeah, I forgot to tell y'all that I am on Spotify.
Awesome.
And
And she's
and thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you for allowing me to be present on your platform. It's such an honor.
Yes.
oh, it's such an honor for me. I just feel like a little Cabbage Patch doll, just all cheesy and smiling, like my cheeks hurt.
I
I'm
love it.
I'm so glad to have you all. This was a great way to introduce such a heavy layer topic of freedom. Here we discuss some friendship, we discuss just acceptance, self acceptance, and so many other themes that you guys really do need to explore, listeners. Explore those, write about them. And until next time, you guys, continue to spend intentional time with your thoughts, focus on how to thrive instead of survive, and be well.